Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News online edition. Just ahead, new evidence about when hundreds of tons of Iraqi explosives may actually have disappeared. Also, a frail Yasser Arafat appears before cameras. How sick is the Palestinian leader? We'll give you the inside story. And America's sportsmen. They usually vote Republican, but there's some signs that may be changing. We'll show you why in the CBS election series, What Does It Mean to You? It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News online edition. While the candidates have been tossing claims and accusations at each other about those missing Iraqi explosives, CBS News has been digging into when and how the explosives disappeared. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin reports the latest evidence comes from U.S. military spy satellites.
A satellite photo released today by the Pentagon falls well short of solving the mystery of the missing explosives. Taken before the war, it shows trucks around the bunkers which held the explosives. There's no way of knowing what they're doing, although one interpretation is that Saddam Hussein had given the order to empty the bunkers. That's what Defense Secretary Rumsfeld thinks happened.
It's very likely that Saddam Hussein moved munitions when he knew the war was coming.
But 2 weeks ago, an Iraqi official notified the International Atomic Energy Agency the explosives had disappeared sometime after April 9th, 2003, the day Baghdad fell, because of the theft and looting due to lack of security. That date is important because once Baghdad fell, the U.S. was responsible for security in Iraq.
CBS News and the New York Times obtained copies of that letter. The story broke on Monday, and ever since, the Pentagon has been scrambling to find out what really happened in the fog of war.
March 1st, 2003. Inspectors for the IAEA visit the weapons complex for the last time and verify the bunkers holding the explosives are still under seal. April 3rd, the first American troops reach the complex as they push toward Baghdad. They clear the compound of enemy fighters but do not search the bunkers. Their commander doubts anyone could have made off with the explosives after he got there because it would have required a convoy of trucks, and the roads were bumper to bumper with the American invasion force. American troops continued to pass through the complex on their way to Baghdad. They rummaged through its bunkers but never sealed it off. So it is possible the explosives could have been carried away by looters bit by bit in pickup trucks. It may never be known exactly when the explosives disappeared. But in claiming that it happened after Baghdad fell, the Iraqi interim government is in effect laying it at the feet of George Bush, the man who brought them to power. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
It's been years since Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat left his headquarters in the West Bank, but tomorrow he'll take a long trip for his health. Ill for some time, Arafat took a serious turn for the worse last night, raising concerns about his future and that of the Palestinian people. CBS's David Hawkins has the inside story.
Wearing pajamas and a knit cap instead of his trademark military uniform and headscarf, a frail Yasser Arafat smiled for the cameras. The pictures were released today to try to dispel rumors that the 75-year-old Palestinian leader is on his deathbed.
I think it would be more appropriate to say that it's serious, but not as critical as it has been described so far.
After Israeli assurances that he'd be allowed to return to the West Bank, Arafat's doctors announced that he'll be flown to Paris on Friday for treatment of what's described as a life-threatening blood disease. The decision was made after his wife, Suha, flew to his bedside from the French capital where she lives. Mr. and Mrs. Arafat had not seen one another for more than 3 years. During that time, while the Israeli-Palestinian conflict raged around him, Arafat has been confined to his battered Ramallah headquarters. Isolated and ostracized by Israel and the United States and considered an obstacle to Middle East peace, Arafat has nevertheless remained the symbol of the Palestinian struggle for statehood. Time and again, he's managed to survive predictions of his imminent demise. But this time, the seriousness of his illness has prompted Palestinians to prepare for a future without him. The question now is, after Arafat, who? There's no obvious successor, and no Palestinian political figure has anything approaching his stature. Meanwhile, it's confusion and uncertainty that reign here. David Hawkins, CBS News, Ramallah.
Many Americans like nothing better than being outdoors with a hunting rifle, a fishing rod, or a shotgun in hand. And they'll vote, at least in part, based on how the presidential candidates reflect those values. So where do the candidates stand? CBS's Bob McNamara takes a look. In the Eye on America election series, what does it mean to you?
Ross Berglove's passion is duck hunting.
Once you've experienced and get out in the wild and do some hunting, you can't give it up.
And his passion affects how he votes.
We've got to pass this hunting, the rights of hunting and fishing, down to our kids. Otherwise, it's going to disappear.
Berglove is part of an outdoor voting bloc. The so-called hook and bullet crowd the candidates are gunning for.
I think it tells you that they know that this is a powerful voting bloc. I mean, this is 38 million Americans that hunt and fish.
I like to be in hunting and fishing country.
President Bush is Field and Stream's Election Eve edition cover boy.
Look, I'm about to go hunting. I've been a hunter since I was 12 years old.
And lately, Senator Kerry is seldom seen in swing states without a gun.
You need sportsmen to get into the White House, and you need sportsmen to stay in the White House.
Historically, hunters and fishermen have voted Republican largely because of the GOP's stand on gun rights. But this time around, there are signs that the hook and bullet bloc is not as one-dimensional as it used to be.
In fact, a recent poll of licensed fishermen and hunters says they're worried the Bush administration is risking the nation's water and air to suit oil and gas interests.
Sportsmen believe that the administration is talking to the wrong people in formulating conservation policy.
On conservation issues like wetlands, the president limited Clean Water Act guidelines from protecting 20 million acres of wetlands, while John Kerry signed letters asking Mr. Bush to overturn that decision. On forests, Mr. Bush lifted a ban on road construction in some national timberlands, but Senator Kerry wants the rule reinstated. And on the protection of endangered species, while the president wants fewer restrictions on farmers and ranchers, challenger Kerry wants more money to support the Endangered Species Act. Today, America's sportsmen are saying it isn't just about gun rights anymore.
We got to vote for people that are for us as sportsmen.
In this corner of the campaign, the issues really are wild. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Monticello, Minnesota.
More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Friday's broadcast, they're called medical spas. You can get your hair styled, laser skin treatments, even Botox injections. But where's the medical staff? A Friday consumer alert. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.